A moon cannot be stolen, which is again a beautiful story. The very next story. Um, Ryokan, a Zen master, lived in the simplest kind of life in a little hut at the foot of a mountain. One evening, a thief visited his hut, only to discover that there is nothing in to steal. Ryokan returned and called him. You may have come a long way to visit me, he told the prowler, and you should not return empty handed. Please take my clothes as a gift. The thief was bewildered. He took the clothes and slunk away. Ryokan sat naked watching the moon. Poor fellow, he mused. I wish I could give him this beautiful moon. Such a beautiful story. I don't know. So, would you like to just reflect on this? It's actually a beautiful story. Another beautiful story in this.
I think this is the best of whatever you've said so far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also feel so. Such a beautiful story.
Ajit, do you mind repeating it, please?
Okay. Ryokan, a Zen master. The story is named "The Moon Cannot Be Stolen." Ryokan, a Zen master, lived the simplest kind of life, in a little hut in the foot of a mountain. One evening, a thief visited his hut only to discover that there is nothing in it to steal. Ryokan returned and called him. You may have come a long way to visit me, he told the prowler, and you should not return empty handed. Please take my clothes as a gift. The thief was bewildered. He took the clothes and slunk away. Ryokan sat naked, watching the moon. Poor fellow, he mused. I wish I could give him this beautiful moon. That's how it ends.
That's beautiful.
So, would you like to say something, Ashi?
So he mean
Yeah.
to say that that experience of the moon he cannot give to that person more than what he have given material.
In the sense, sorry?
No, he was not able to give the experience of the moon than the materialistic thing which he has given.
Could be that way. Could be that way also. We could actually moon is a metaphor here. Clearly, moon is a metaphor, no doubt. And maybe we
no, no,
can see.
I'm trying to see the act of giving. What for else he can give, right? That's the subject. More than the materialistic thing. What
Yeah,
for?
exactly. That is what the infiniteness of the moon, or the what exactly moon depicts, is what the reflection of the story itself is. So if we see moon, the major thing with moon is reflecting. Moon is filtering sun's rays, and her sun's rays are really hot. It kinds of filters and cools it off, and it reflects it to the people. And moon is again, if you take in Zen tradition, moon, pond, these things are usually used metaphors, in the sense, the moon is.
Yeah, what is the metaphor? I'm thinking of this as like, but clearly the Zen master also does not have the moon in his hand, right? Moon
Yeah,
is
yeah,
available for everybody, right?
yeah,
So I'm thinking the metaphor that I'm thinking is it is his inner joy, right?
yeah.
Whatever joy that he is able, he like nobody can steal your inner joy. No,
Yes,
they can
yes,
steal
yes,
whatever you have external factors, but
yes.
what you have internally nobody can steal, right?
Exactly.
um so I kind of, that metaphor for me is like his content, his peacefulness, his inner joy.
Yeah.
That is what is metaphorically
And
referring
maybe one
as
more thing. One
moon.
more thing is there is the beauty. Moon is again the feminine beauty, that
Yeah,
feminine beauty of being.
the feminine beauty of being.
Being.
Why is it feminine?
Moon is generally seen as feminine, and sun is masculine. That's where, just, in stories, when we see moon also, this moon is kind of filtering.
Mm.
It is actually
Okay, so
absorbing,
you're cooling. Yeah, okay.
filtering
Okay,
it,
you're thinking that way. Okay.
and it is reflecting at the same time. So moon is on
Mm.
reflection. Moon is more natural because, what would I say? The moonlight is like a sea on the land.
Mm.
It actually
Okay.
soothes the day, the earth or the day or the atmosphere, which has got really warmed up by moon throughout the day. So it is that feminine, probably feminine. Let's not let me not repeat that. At least it is that which compassion, that which kinds of soothes everything, which made him act
Yeah.
in a certain way to the thief who came to steal something from him.
Yeah. I see the beauty in the world, but he's not able to see it,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That way.
And I
Like,
cannot
yeah.
give him that thing that he's sad about.
Like,
He's
yeah.
actually empathizing with the person. How how limited this person is.
Mm-hmm.
Which is again and moon, and this is probably the, as you said, ma'am, this is probably the best story as of now we have read. This could be the
So
Yeah.
what is
Yeah.
title of the story?
the moon cannot be stolen.
Yeah.
Actually, the thief visited this master's hut to steal something, and the master had nothing to give, but then he gave his clothes. He removed his clothes and stripped himself and gave the clothes to him, and you take this. And he is actually kind of would you say, thinking, poor fellow, I would have given him this beautiful moon, which I cannot. That's how the
Yeah,
story.
there is not two people. I'm seeing three people in this story.
Yeah, yes.
So one is the moon, one is the
Huh.
master, one is the thief.
Yes.
So for him only master is visible.
Huh.
So he is asking, so master is giving. The
Yes.
other person is also with master.
Huh.
So he is not able to see the other person, that is moon,
Hmm.
which is an eternal thing.
Yeah.
As Sri Priya mentioned,
Huh.
it's the joy of giving,
Huh.
sharing gives happiness, more and more happiness.
Yeah.
Even after giving his clothes, he will be finding something to give it to the thief if thief asks for.
Yeah.
So the more you give, the more happiness he will be having. So that cannot be stealed.
Yeah.
And his partner is moon.
Yeah. Beautifully
So
said,
this is my
Mani sir.
perspective.
Beautifully said. Uh, I would say this here, as you said. Now there are two things, especially one, that dress he gave away. That's a material thing, which is quite wanted, which is a basic need. Whereas this moon, which is ever pervading, ever it is there. It's the representation of abundance, joy, abundance of joy, abundance of kindness, compassion, empathy, which is just pervading like moonlight, but then it is not seen, or which is not wanted at all. Actually, it is not in demand, but then this small silly material thing is highly demanded. Whereas this person,
So,
this master, he owns the moon and the moonlight, but he can't give
so
it.
Aju,
Yes, please.
Aju, the
Huh,
last line, right?
huh,
Like he was looking at the moon and telling,
huh,
right, that
huh.
I can't give or something like that, right?
Yeah, that
On
is what,
those
poor
lines.
fellow. I wish I could give him this beautiful moon, which he cannot.
So for me, I was thinking like, in the whole night, darkness, moon is
Hmm.
the only thing which shines, stands out,
Huh.
something which illuminates.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
in the darkness, the light that the moon brings,
Huh.
that kind of thing probably, that is something really valuable, probably. I mean, like, I just,
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
my thoughts went on those lines. And that is not something which he can give that to, that is not something which the thief can steal, or
Hmm.
it's not something which he can offer to the thief also,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Light in the darkness,
Yes.
maybe. But I also resonate with what Kumaran sir and Shikya ma'am told
Hmm.
about the beauty and the material
Absolutely.
things as such.
Yeah.
Material things can be given away, but the beauty as conceived by the person who is actually, see, the way you see it and the way I see it, we
Huh.
can't really express it in words. The way
Yes.
I perceive it and I express it, as you say, no,
Yes,
filtered.
yes, yes.
It is filtered.
It
So
is
the way we
filtered.
both
At the same
see
time, it
it
is
is
reflected
different.
also. It is filtered
Yes,
and
yes,
reflected.
yes.
It is not,
Reflect.
absorbing. It's not like black hole where everything is lost. It is reflecting. That is
Right.
the beauty of the moon,
Right.
which
Yeah.
gives out.
That's
Ajit
what
sir?
I thought.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Please.
What a wonderful short story, but powerful
Very powerful.
meaning to it. My understanding is very simple.
Hmm.
I feel that this gentleman sitting there,
Hmm.
giving away the last item that he owns, his own clothes. He
Yeah.
becomes
Yeah.
naked and
Yeah.
he gives away that. And then he's thinking,
Huh.
if
What
only I
more?
could steal this moon, I would have given that to him.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
his large heartedness and
Yes.
his
Yes.
sense of charity. If I had a one piece of cloth on me, I wouldn't
Huh.
give it away. Definitely
Huh.
not.
Of course, no. No
Isn't
one
it?
will do that. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
That's
So
beautiful.
it's just it's his
His
maybe
his state of
charity
mind. Yeah.
personified or something. He just wants to give
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and be and have the peace with him. So that's how I feel the story that the story reflects.
Beautifully
I may
said,
or may
ma'am.
not be right.
No, no, beautifully.
Thank you.
There's no right and wrong now, of course. This
But an
beautifully said.
amazing story. It is amazing. I mean, we should probably think about it more in our own lives.
Our own,
And
yeah, exactly.
exactly, that's
And
maybe that
as
moon's reflection. It should
uh,
be in our lives. The
yeah,
reflection of the moon. The bigger
actually,
things
ma'am,
instead of
as
giving things which are easily giving away, we can give a lot of things which we can easily give.
uh,
But those things which we cannot be given, when you
yeah,
give it away, is when the true charity comes in, I believe.
yeah. Actually, when ma'am was saying about this thing, giving away the last thing, something which reflected in me also, I would like to share that this cloth is nothing but it is a limited thing. It represents a lot of to a lot of people. It is scarcity actually. Cloth is a basic need. Even that he is ready to take when the monk offers. That's clearly a sign of scarcity. But then the person who gives it away, he is not in a scarcity mindset because he has the entire moon he owns. He's not separated from the moon. Could probably be the wisdom he possesses, or could be his emotions, emotional states, or what is the empathy or higher emotions that he possesses, which even he is ready to give, but then it cannot be given because there is no receiver, because you should have something to receive when he has to give. Now he is ready to give, his empathy is there, but this person takes it and runs away is what the story says. So he's not no more there to receive what he has to give. He has immense wisdom, treasure of wisdom, which he doesn't want. So he is in the state of abundance even when his last thing is lost, which is a really beautiful reflection, ma'am. Thank you so much for saying that.
I also felt something
Hmm.
similar, but that mm, when he gives away even the last piece of clothing,
Hmm.
it signifies that I mean, that's the character of the monk, right?
Yes,
I mean, he
yes,
has no desires. He doesn't need anything,
yes.
so he can give it away. He can just give it away, you
Simply
know.
give it away. Yeah.
And another character which brings out the monk's character is compassion. So
Yes.
even after the thief comes
Hmm.
and steals everything, he still says, "Oh, poor
Hmm.
chap, poor fellow."
Yes, yes.
So he understands about him and he has his compassion. That's another
Yeah.
typical character of a monk, right?
Exactly. Poor fellow. He exactly says that because he know that that person is just limited person who is in the level of scarcity. He need even the cloth. He can't leave that even when it is offered.
Yeah.
It's really because in terms of mindset he is poor, in terms of in all the way he's poor, and he feels literally he feels kind of what you say. Uh, I don't think it is a compassion or something. I'm not getting the exact word what he feels about his. Maybe he is feeling pity about the person. He's feeling pity about this thief? As to how limited he is?
Compassion is typically a Buddhist monk's trait, right?
Of course.
Compassion is when he understands how the other person feels, and that's what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It's more than pity; it is compassion. I
Yeah.
think, you know.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It
they're
is
all words.
compassion only. It
As
is a
long as
higher
we
state of
understand what it
compassion,
is.
not pity. It is a higher
Yeah.
state of compassion only.
Mm.
Very true, ma'am. Thank you. It's not pity.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, just to add one more
Yes.
point of view, on the
Yeah.
same page what you said.
Huh.
See, the thief lives in his own state, right? So he thinks that acquisition of certain things can make his life, and he
Yeah.
is on that.
Huh.
On the other person, you see a monk or something who is beyond all these things. That acquisition of these things cannot give. There is something beyond this,
Huh.
which he tries to be with the nature or something. And
Yeah.
I think in the practical world also, right? So there are some things which cannot be stolen, your knowledge. So you are investing in your knowledge and the material things which can be always perishable.
Hmm. So that thing of that materialism, that dichotomy of materialism, material scarcity, and the natural abundance is beautifully, kind of that contrasted like a picture, like a beautiful painting. It is present in the story, is what I also feel. That contrast between the material, what is a scarcity or limit.
Yeah, I think each story has brought it out, no?
Hmm.
Each story brings out
Yeah.
about it.
And another thing which I might have missed out again, moon has a lot of significance in Zen traditions. A moon is again, some of you might be knowing more about this, like the yin and yang tradition. Moon is the moon symbol is of yin, that is the female, the femininity, and and that actually embraces this limitedness also. It is not of discarding limitedness. It is not of in some of the traditions we might have heard even in India that vairagya, I mean, I don't know the exact word in Sanskrit. This is like that, we leave, no, I don't want. That is not actually the thing. It's again, you have, but bare minimum you have material, and with that you just be and flourish. You achieve more of that which is abundant or unlimited. So that beauty of limited and
Also, Ajit,
unlimited,
yeah.
yeah, that is
Yeah,
beautiful.
Ajit, also, I'm sorry, Kai, sorry to
Please,
cut you
please,
off.
please,
Finish it
please.
and then I'll talk.
No, no, I've
Yeah.
done, I've
No,
done.
no, yeah, moon is also something that rules over our mind also. Like the lunar
Yeah,
cycles, they say, like in our
yeah,
tradition, the full moon, like
yeah,
it affects the mind, they say, right? It
yeah,
has the
yeah,
power, even in our astrology, right?
yeah,
If you're ruled by moon, then your mind is at work more than usual.
yeah.
So that
Imagination
has
or
controlling
hmm.
power over your mind as well.
Very true, ma'am. Very true. That I mean, moon is that softer creativity that we holds. Even lunar, as ma'am was saying, lunar and lunatic are so close.
Right, right.
Lunatic
Yes,
is,
yes,
is an extreme
exactly.
of,
Yeah. Comes
yeah,
from lunar. Lunatic
exactly,
comes from
exactly.
lunar. Yeah.
It could be coming from lunar only, because it's an extra eccentricity which you can. Eccentricity
Mm-hmm.
means it has a limit. It has an extreme. It goes beyond that. It is much beyond that. So moon is truly an abundance, a true abundance. I feel like my personal kind of metaphor for moon is like a sea or an ocean on the land,
On the sky,
on the
moon,
sky or
sea,
on the
yeah,
land, exactly.
sea, yeah.
And it is subtler
Mm,
than ocean, or water is more dense, whereas this is more and more subtle.
Yeah, and all
yeah.
pervading, sort of
All
enclosing
pervading.
everything.
Yes. Don't feel like moving from this story, but still we'll have to move to another story now.
It's actually now
Time.
8:10, 8:12. There's another session at
8:30.
8:30. So
8:30. So
do you
maybe we
think we can
can
finish one more by then?
one more. Let me just see if I have one more story.
Okay, if
Maybe
there's a small one, we'll do that.
last poem of ocean. Uh, okay. Let's have on a lighter note. I'll just read another one. Third, three. Stop. This is also the state of mind of a Zen master, we will say. It is not very short, but yeah, it's short only. The story is named Is That So? Doesn't require much reflection beautifully. The Zen master Hakuin. Hakuin is one of the very famous Zen master, was praised by his neighbors as one living a pure life. A beautiful Japanese girl with whose parents owned a food store near where he lived. Suddenly, without any warning, her parents discovered she with a child. This made her parents very angry. She was of course unmarried. She would not confess who the man was. But after such harassment, at last she named Hakuin. In great anger, the parents went to the master and asked about this thing. Then this master, he is famous for this thing. Is that so? He was just asking that only. Was all what he would say. After the child was born, it was brought to Hakuin. By this time, he had lost his reputation in the community, which did not trouble him. He was not at all bothered, but he took very good care of the child. He obtained milk from his neighbors and everything else the little one needed. A year later, the child's mother, could stand it no longer. She told her parents the truth. The real father of the child was a young man who worked in the fish market. The mother and the father of the girl at once went to Hakuin to ask his forgiveness, to apologize at length, and to get the child back again. Hakuin was willing. In yielding the child, all that he said was, Is that so? That's the story. Is that so? That's the name of the story. Anything if you would like to say with that, maybe we can close our today's session. It clearly shows the state of the mind of the Zen master, almost like the one who left his last thing which he could leave.
Yeah, it's like saying Apdiya.
Apdiya.
Is that
Yes,
so?
yes, exactly.
The only
Exactly.
thing which comes to my mind
Going
is
to
is
ask,
that
is
so?
that so?
Is that so?
We
Yeah,
can
it
I
yeah.
see
doesn't.
that.
It doesn't need a
All
reflection.
of us are
Jayanti
thinking
ma'am,
in the
high
same
five.
level now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Is that so? And appropriately titled also. So with this, maybe we can stop
God.
today's session. Anything, Jayanti ma'am, please.
You can go on for another 10 minutes, no problem.
Huh.
It's only
No, I was just.
1:15 now.
Huh.
It's such an amazing story, so simple and such simple language. Wonderful. Thank you, Ajit sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. If we can take maybe one more story, I will read rather than reflecting.
Sure, sure.
Because this is of the disciple of Hakuin himself. One another story is their 25th story. So it must be connected. It is like we go with the lineage that way. Let me just quickly get into that. There are a lot of beautiful stories are there, of course. 25. This also doesn't require much reflection. It is like the wave story only, almost like the wave story. The story is named 3 Days More. Suivo, the disciple of Hakuin, was a good teacher. During one summer seclusion period, a pupil came to him from a southern island of Japan. Suivo gave him the problem: hear the sound in one hand. The pupil remained 3 years but couldn't pass this test. Like, with one hand he should hear the sound, one hand clap or something. One night he came in tears to Suivo. I must return south in shame and embarrassment, he said, for I cannot solve my problem. Wait 1 week more and meditate constantly. Advised Suivo. Still no enlightenment came to the pupil. Try for another week, said Suivo. The pupil obeyed, but in vain. Still another week. Yet this was no avail. In despair, the student begged to be released, but Suivo requested another meditation for 5 days. They were without result. Then he said, meditate for 3 days longer. Then, if you fail to attain enlightenment, and you better kill yourself. On the second day, the pupil got enlightened. That's the story. 3 days more. Just a 2 minute story. Anything to ponder on?
The enlightenment came because otherwise he had to kill himself.
Yeah, exactly. It's a similar story actually.
I didn't get a little bit in the first 2 lines that you read.
Yes.
I'm not sure. The first 2 lines, could you just read them again?
Yeah.
Just the 2 lines.
The first one, I mean the start of the story.
Yeah.
Suivo, the disciple of Hakuin. Hakuin is the one who we discussed before. He's that soap master. Was a good teacher. During the summer seclusion period, a pupil came to him from a southern island of Japan.
Okay.
So he gave him a problem. Hear the sound of one hand. Generally, that is
what
very.
What does it mean? Sound of one hand means?
Actually, in Zen tradition, we used to say that the sound comes only if there are two hands. But in Zen tradition, it is a very common thing, like hearing the sound of one hand clapping. Without another hand, you could hear the sound. It's again a metaphorical. It's again a metaphorical meditative exercise, which generally Zen masters say or give. This was the task given to him, which he was not able to accomplish all these times. It is not to prove that one hand sounds or something.
Yeah.
That's where this even illusion. Zen masters use a lot of illusion for enlightenment.
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Anything to reflect on this? This is again another beautiful story. This is actually. I would say these are poems rather than stories. These are like proper poems. Ashi, would you like to maybe before just one word or something about the story?
No, it's like all of them, Aju. It's so short and sweet and so thought provoking actually, and to hear everybody speak about their thoughts, it's even more interesting.
Yeah.
The way each of our thoughts go in different direction. That's very it's very fascinating, I should say.
Yes.
Beautiful collection. Ritu. Are you going to continue with this
Maybe we
later
can
on?
plan. Maybe
Are
we
there
can
more
plan.
stories?
Maybe we can plan
Yes,
because there's so many stories in this.
Okay.
Yes, Ajit, you are.
Yeah.
We'll see how.
I hope so.
Yeah, because it's nice. I mean, like short and crisp.
Yeah.
Crisp, like it's nice.
Because I.
Thanks, Ajit. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Sure. So, if nothing, over to you, Lakshmi ma'am.
Anybody else? Would anyone else like to say anything?
It was very good, Ajit. It was like a little Zen practice itself, listening to these stories.
Yes.
It's very nice. Created a lot of interest, at least for me, to go and read a little bit more.
I'll share this book, a soft copy in the group. I'll share this.
Oh, that'll be great. That'll be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are very short stories, so everyone can read it.
Mm-hmm. That'll be great.
Thank you.
Really, it's been like pearls of wisdom, I should say.
Ayyo, really.
And it was, and and what Ashita said, it's also the analyzing it together and bringing out our own thoughts.
Ma'am, I would sorry to interrupt. I would like to hear you saying this is reflection more than an analysis.
Okay.
Because analysis comes with a lot of logic. All these gurus, Zen gurus, they defy logic actually. They do all this nonsense. Some of the stories, if you read,
So Ajit, probably they reflected. We are actually analyzing.
We
I don't know
reflect.
whether we can equate ourselves to
Probably we
Zen
can.
gurus
No,
where
no,
we
the way
reach
we.
that level. No, no, I was
Not
just kidding.
really. Not really.
I was
Actually,
just
we also need to actually reflect on the story than analyzing the story. Maybe analysis or literary criticism is meant for probably normal stories, literary work. This is more like
Oh, but analysis
uh,
doesn't essentially mean criticism, right?
and
Maybe it's the way you have understood the word, and I
maybe
have.
that is also
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
analysis is again a cognitive thing, is what I meant. We do a lot of
Okay, okay.
cognitive exercise. Here it is more
Mm.
like
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
what do you say, I don't know, it's like a poem, it's like a music. When we
Yes,
hear
it
good
is.
songs like Raja
Yeah,
songs, some
yeah.
of the songs, we
Yes.
don't feel like analyzing which raga it is, which what is there, what scale it is. We simply listen to it and then get into
Just to
something.
enjoy it and
uh,
absorb it.
It's
and
like
probably
looking at the moon
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
like that.
I don't know. This is probably
and
what
then
I
just
feel.
enjoying the beauty.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean anything logical and
Okay, okay,
that
ma'am.
in my word of analysis. My understanding must
Story
have been
analysis.
different.
Yes, yes. I
Um,
understand from your
yeah,
perspective. Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Because I'm a very non-analytical person, so
Okay, okay.
and it's not. Yeah. Anyway, thanks so much, Ajit. It was a
Thank you,
very nice,
ma'am.
interesting session, and I hope you'll do it again and
Yeah, sure,
continue with
sure.
it with more interesting stories with us. And thanks everyone else for being here. And if anyone wants to come forward and please present some books, we'll be so happy to have different people doing it. Please do come forward and do so. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Right. Bye. Good
Bye
night.
bye. I
Thank you,
need to
Lakshmi
give a
ma'am.
Bye.
big thanks to
Bye. Good
each and
night,
everyone.
everyone.
Everyone, big thanks for being interacting.